Ladies and gentlemen, fellow subscribers and newcomers to the channel, today I have for you one of the biggest Easter eggs ever planted inside of a Marvel movie. I'm not joking, this isn't clickbait, this is 100% something that I noticed while last watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it has huge implications for the future of the MCU and for a group I know you are all very excited to have enter the MCU. So if there was ever a time you wanted to stick around until the end of the video, this one is it, because I'm going to explain how we are going to be getting the Fantastic Four in the MCU, the main MCU timeline, not the multiverse, not a alternate version or a variant, the actual Fantastic Four, and how they have now been hinted at for the very first time in an actual MCU project. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture. I'm your host Chris. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on your notification bell, as we are discussing all major movie and television news, especially Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness right now. What a massive hit this has been, exciting people for the future of Phase 4 and showing us the new direction the multiverse is planning on taking us in the future of everything planned. We know that Kevin Feige has announced we have the next 10 years planned, movies coming out until 2032. That's a very long time, and very possibly the next big saga. And by saga I refer to what's next after the Infinity Saga, which was the first 10 years and first 3 phases of the MCU, leading at the very end in Avengers Endgame. Well, now we have had a ton of new projects, both on Disney Plus as TV shows and movies like Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and recently Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, all that have been planting and giving us footing for the future, groundwork laying, setting up what exactly the plans are with the MCU. And yes, the multiverse was a big part of that and will continue to be a big part of that. But what I'm about to tell you has nothing to do with the multiverse. So let's get into it. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness brought us to a different world. It was confirmed that this different world referred to themselves as Universe 838, and they referred to our universe, the sacred timeline that we are familiar with, where Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man snapped to save everybody, as 616. So it's important to remember, in case for some reason it got a little confusing for you, that in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the Illuminati who we experience, the people that we met here, are not from our universe. This is a completely separate universe, and yes, they are all dead. Wanda killed all of them. Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, Patrick Stewart's Professor X, Captain Carter, all of them gone. They're all gone. Not coming back. 838, this universe where they existed, no longer has them. Well, here comes the really awesome Easter egg. During the important part, or the fun part I suppose, when they're all introducing themselves to Doctor Strange in a pretty arrogant and cocky manner, Mordo is going through all of these characters who are involved in the Illuminati. When he gets to Reed Richards, he says, "Smartest man in the universe." Reed Richards, who then comes through a little portal and magically appears there, and he seems pretty smart, and to our big enjoyment, it's John Krasinski playing Mr. Fantastic, which we've all been talking about for quite some time. Now, during this moment, crowds are going absolutely wild. It's very likely, if you were in some of the earlier showings of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, every time something happened that was of this level, like Reed Richards showing up as John Krasinski, the entire audience was screaming. Well, the first time I watched the movie was at the red carpet world premiere, so we're talking some major superfans who were blowing their minds out when all of the Illuminati was being announced. The second time I watched it was like the release day for the world, so tons of super dedicated fans who got their tickets really early. This third time I watched it, however, was just on Sunday, so it was actually not even a full theater, some different crowd, not necessarily super fans, so when the part of explaining the Illuminati came on, it wasn't as loud, and I heard Doctor Strange say this after Reed Richards was announced. Reed Richards was announced as the smartest man in the universe, and Doctor Strange looked at him and said, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? Hold on. Seriously, hold on. This is massive. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? He heard the name Reed Richards, he looked at John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic and said, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? Guys, he 100% recognized either the face of Reed Richards, which means John Krasinski could be the Reed Richards of the MCU, and second, could have been just the name had he read something about Reed Richards and his team disappears. hold up, this is something to get very, very excited about. Doctor Strange from our universe recognized who Reed Richards was because he had heard the name or saw the face in 616 in the sacred timeline in our MCU, saying, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?" Now, if you guys are familiar with my channel, a few months ago I talked about a video saying enter the MCU, the Fantastic Four, and I gave a theory of how I would like to see the Fantastic Four enter the MCU, specifically stating in that video, which I'll leave a link up here right now if you want to watch the whole thing, but specifically saying in that video, I hope that in the 60s specifically, the Fantastic Four accidentally travel into the quantum realm or purposely travel into the quantum realm and get stuck there. And that is where they're going to get their powers, and that is how they're going to, later on maybe Ant-Man, Quantumania, escape the quantum realm, remaining their same age because there are different pockets in the quantum realm where time moves differently. So potentially they're in a pocket where they haven't aged. And they're going to also have their powers, be introduced to the MCU, after having been in there from about the 60s. And that's exactly what Doctor Strange says here. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? Now, he's not specific what he says about them charting. It could be different parts of space, different parts of asteroids, the cosmos, or it could be parts of the quantum realm, which is very well-known science now for the MCU, for 616, for our universe. The quantum realm is a very well, at least known about, we won't say understood, but known about part of science. We even have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania showing up, which we know is going to involve Kang, but now I'm starting to think is also going to possibly involve the Fantastic Four. My theory in my other video said maybe we can get a post-credit scene or something of that nature. I'm really feeling confident that the Fantastic Four are not too far away. And based off of Doctor Strange's reaction, maybe it will be John Krasinski. The inclusion of the Fantastic Four in the MCU is a very, very exciting new caveat of Disney having bought the Fox characters for $1.84 billion or whatever stupid amount it was, and we have all been talking very diligently about when is this all going to happen? When are the X-Men coming? When is Deadpool coming? When are the Fantastic Four coming? This is 100% the first reference to the Fantastic Four existing in 616 or the Sacred Timeline, and it was in Doctor Strange, and he kind of whispers it, they kind of hid it in there, and I actually haven't heard anybody else talk about this up to this point. I heard this when I was in the theater, and it was all I thought about for the rest of the movie. It was my third time watching the film, but I was so excited. All I wanted to do was come and make this video so you guys could be aware of this awesome hidden Easter egg. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? Doctor Strange recognizes Reed Richards either by face or by name and knows that the team charted in the 60s. So they disappeared and they're still there, and I'm gonna guess and say there is the quantum realm, and when they escape, when they catch back up to the MCU, they will have retained their youth because of different pockets of the quantum realm and where time travels and moves differently than it does in a regular realm, and also they will have generated their powers. Mr. Fantastic, obviously, with his ability to stretch, Sue Storm with her ability to go invisible, Johnny Storm with his ability to turn into flames and flame on, and the Thing with his ability to be the Thing. And yes, it will soon be clobbering time. I don't know if you guys can tell by the scattered brainness of this video, but I am so excited about this information. The Fantastic Four is Marvel's first family, a very, very old and classic group of characters from the comics, and their introduction to the MCU is going to be historic. Do we know the exact details of their entrance? Do we know the date and the time? No, but I feel very confident that we will be getting more hints of this in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, because I believe what Doctor Strange is talking about here, them charting in the 60s, is the quantum realm. Reed Richards is a very intelligent man, so in the 60s, even with the technology that they had, maybe he was working with Hank Pym, something along those lines, I do believe he would have been able to discover the quantum realm and even travel there, and he and his team got stuck tragically. So they will be showing up in the MCU in the future as characters who have passed through time, and that will explain where they have been this whole time around. Maybe there is a Baxter building, but it's been condemned because nobody was paying to keep the lights on after the team disappeared. Maybe they'll be able to show back up, go to their condemned building, and start right away. I'm super excited for this information, guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below. This isn't really a theory. This is 100% an Easter egg in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it's definitely cause to get excited. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you to everybody who watched till the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or interesting, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any other major breaking news updates for all things major movie and television news. And I'll see you guys in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.